All right, so today we're going to dive into something pretty fascinating, the psychology of attraction.
Okay.
We're going to be talking about dating and relationships and all that good stuff. And you might be surprised to hear this, but our main source material is a book called How to Flirt with Women.
Interesting.
Now, before you think this is all about like cheesy pickup lines or something, let me assure you it gets much deeper than that.
Right.
We're going to be unpacking like the underlying psychology of attraction, you know,
hmm
which is relevant whether you're, actually looking for love
hmm
or just want to like level up your social skills.
For sure. For sure.
It's applicable to everyone, really.
Yeah. I mean, it's interesting. This book takes a very multidisciplinary approach. It blends psychology with evolutionary science, even neurology,
Oh, wow.
to explain the science behind attraction.
Yeah, that's what really caught my eye about this too, is that it's like it brings in all these different areas of research and,
Yep.
tries to find some common threads. Did you know that like people form impressions of someone in just the first 4 seconds of meeting them?
Wow.
4 seconds.
That's quick.
That's barely enough time to say hello.
It really highlights how important those first impressions are. I
Yeah.
mean, you're constantly sending and receiving signals even before you've spoken a word.
Right, exactly.
hmm
So like, have you ever felt like you were trying too hard to impress someone, like maybe cracking jokes nonstop
Oh, yeah.
or boasting about like all your achievements?
Yeah.
The book actually calls this like the dancing monkey syndrome.
Ah, the dancing monkey
The
syndrome.
dancing monkey, have you ever heard of that?
I have not heard of it, no.
So the dancing monkey basically, like, they try to force the attraction
Okay,
by like putting on a show,
gotcha.
but it often backfires because you
Yeah,
just come across as inauthentic and kind of desperate.
right.
And evolutionary science suggests that like we're actually wired to detect authenticity.
That's interesting.
So trying too hard can actually make you less attractive.
Less attractive.
Wow. So skip the rehearsed lines and, all that stuff and just focus on being genuine.
Right, just be yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, the book doesn't just stop at first impressions. It also goes into a lot of detail about body language,
Okay.
which I found surprisingly insightful.
Yeah, body language is super powerful.
Yeah.
It's a huge form of nonverbal communication. It's all about understanding the signals we're sending and receiving subconsciously.
Right. And like, one of the things they talk about is the concept of open versus closed body language.
Okay, interesting.
So like think about someone with open palms facing you directly that signals honesty and approachability.
Makes sense.
But then on the other hand, if you've got like crossed arms,
Mm.
or turned away posture, that creates a sense of distance.
Right, like you're closed off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then there's this other fascinating concept called mirroring,
Mirroring.
which suggests that subtly mimicking someone's body language can actually build rapport.
Interesting, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
So that actually happens subconsciously when we feel a connection with someone.
Yeah.
Right, so by subtly reflecting their posture or their gestures, we can actually create a sense of harmony and understanding.
It's almost like speaking a secret language of connection without even realizing it.
Exactly.
That's really cool. Um, okay, so let's address something that I know a lot of people struggle with, the dreaded friend zone.
Ooh, the friend zone.
Yeah, the book dedicates a whole section to this. And the advice basically boils down to honesty.
Honesty. Okay.
So being honest about your intentions is crucial
Right.
because trying to like manipulate your way into a relationship from the friend zone,
Yeah.
it's probably just going to lead to like hurt feelings and
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
make things awkward. One of the tips that really stood out to me was the importance of not agreeing with someone all the time.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So don't be a yes man.
Yeah, don't be a yes fan, right?
Yes.
Because constantly agreeing can make you seem, like you're just trying to please them, which can be unattractive.
Right, so it's like you lose your own identity in trying to please the other person.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Healthy relationships involve like respectful disagreement.
For sure.
Being able to express your own opinions is actually a sign of confidence.
Right.
So the book also talks about creating a little bit of sexual tension
Ooh.
to shift the dynamic away from purely platonic.
Okay. Interesting.
So this isn't about being inappropriate or anything.
Right.
It's more about like creating a spark,
Go.
a sense of intrigue that goes beyond friendship.
I see.
It could be as simple as like holding eye contact a little longer
Okay.
or using some playful banter,
Right.
that kind of thing.
Makes sense.
Um, I have to admit, though, some of the tactics in the book felt a little ethically questionable to me.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like fractionation, for example.
Fractionation. What's that?
So fractionation is this technique that involves taking someone on an emotional roller coaster,
Okay.
like high points and low points.
Did you?
And it can create a really strong bond,
Okay.
but it could also be kind of unhealthy,
Right.
you know?
So it's a technique that needs to be approached with caution.
Yeah, for sure. It feels a little manipulative to me.
Yeah. I mean, while the book suggests using these techniques to create attraction, you really have to consider the ethical implications.
Right.
Make
Sure.
sure you're not using it to manipulate or control someone.
Yeah, you got to be responsible.
Absolutely.
Use these things for good and not for evil.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. So,
It's all about being ethical.
yes, ethics are important.
Yes, definitely.
All right. So we're going to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we'll dive into some of the other juicy stuff in this book. Stay tuned.
All right. Sounds good.
Okay. So, while some of those techniques we talked about, they might raise an eyebrow or two.
Right.
It's worth noting that, this book isn't all about tricks and manipulation.
Oh, for sure.
It also talks about building lasting relationships based on, respect, trust, and shared values. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, initial attraction is definitely important, but long-term love requires something much deeper.
For sure. And the book really emphasizes the importance of being a woman's, loudest cheerleader.
Oh, that's a great way to put it.
I thought that was such a great phrase.
It is a good phrase.
It's about, genuinely supporting her goals and dreams, being there for her through the ups and downs.
Right, being supportive.
Exactly. And, celebrating her victories, offering encouragement when she faces setbacks.
For sure, being that positive force in her life.
Yeah. And the book also talks about overcoming resistance.
Resistance.
So the idea is that sometimes a woman's initial hesitation might actually be a test
Oh, interesting.
to see how committed you are.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So it's about demonstrating resilience and genuine interest, even when faced with a challenge.
So it's not just about giving up at the first sign of difficulty.
Exactly. It's about showing that you're not just interested in a fleeting romance,
Yeah.
but you're invested in building something meaningful.
It's about being in it for the long haul.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit and talk about online dating.
All right, online dating.
The book has a whole chapter on this with specific tips for navigating the digital landscape of love.
Yeah, it's a whole different world out there.
It is a whole different world, but the fundamental principles of attraction, they still apply.
Oh, absolutely, they do.
They do. But, the book stresses the importance of having a unique and engaging online profile.
Right, you got to stand out.
You got to stand out, exactly.
You've got to make a good first impression.
Right, so it's about, showcasing your personality and interests in a way that sparks curiosity and intrigue.
Right, make people want to learn more about you.
Yes. Avoid cliches and generic statements.
Right, nobody wants to read the same boring profile over and over again.
Right. Use your profile to tell a story about who you are and what makes you tick.
Show your personality.
Yes. There's this really cool tip in the book about ending your photo lineup with an image that sparks conversation.
Oh, that's a good one.
For example, a picture of you pursuing a hobby or
Yeah.
traveling somewhere interesting.
Right, show them you have a life outside of just posing for pictures.
Exactly. So it's like a subtle way to invite engagement.
It's like a conversation starter.
Yeah, instead of just presenting a series of headshots,
Right.
you're giving potential matches something to connect with.
You're giving them a glimpse into your world.
Exactly. It's like giving them a jumping off point for a conversation.
Precisely.
You know what I mean? And speaking of online interactions, here's something that really surprised me.
Okay, what's that?
The book claims that playing hard to get doesn't really work in the online world.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it's because, in online dating, responsiveness and clear communication are key.
Oh, for sure. People are moving fast online.
Yeah. You can't leave someone hanging for days and expect them to remain interested.
Right, you got to strike while the iron is hot.
Exactly. In such a fast-paced environment where people have so many options.
Right, there's a lot of competition.
Yeah, playing it too cool can actually backfire.
Yeah, if you're interested, show it.
Right. Responsiveness and clear communication convey respect and genuine interest.
Absolutely.
Okay, I have to ask about this last chapter.
Okay.
The one about getting your crush completely hooked.
All right, let's hear it.
Some of the suggestions in there are pretty intense.
Intense in what way?
Well, it delves into some deeper strategies for building a profound connection
Okay.
and fostering a sense of deep emotional attachment.
Sounds serious.
It is serious stuff.
Yeah.
One tip that stood out was the idea of being incredibly attentive
Okay.
and letting her know you're thinking about her constantly.
So it's about going above and beyond to show her that she's special.
Exactly. It's about going beyond casual dating and actively demonstrating that she's a priority in your life.
So you're making a conscious effort to put her first.
Yeah, consistent effort and attention create a sense of security and value.
It shows that you're really invested in the relationship.
Exactly. And then there's that suggestion about pouring your heart out,
Pouring your heart out.
being completely vulnerable,
Yeah.
and sharing your deepest feelings.
Wow, that's a big step.
It is a big step.
But vulnerability can be really powerful.
Yeah, it is.
When you open yourself up to someone, you invite them to do the same.
Right.
And that can foster a deep sense of closeness and trust.
It's risky, but it can be really rewarding.
Right. But the book also cautions against being too clingy or needy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
It's all about finding that balance between being emotionally available and maintaining your own independence.
Right. You don't want to lose yourself in the relationship.
Exactly. Two individuals coming together while still respecting each other's individuality and need for space.
That's the key to a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
So we've explored like a vast spectrum of ideas today,
We have.
from those crucial first impressions and the power of body language
Right.
to navigating the complexities of online dating
Mm-hmm.
and cultivating enduring commitment.
Yeah, it's been a wild ride.
It has what stands out to you as like the most valuable takeaway from this deep dive.
You know, for me, it's the reminder that relationships in all their forms
Mm-hmm.
are intricate and multi-layered.
Right.
There's no magic formula or one-size-fits-all approach to guarantee success.
Yeah, that's for sure.
It's about being authentic, respectful, and genuinely attuned to the other person's needs and desires.
And it's about putting in the effort.
Yes, effort is key.
Building strong and fulfilling relationships takes work, but the rewards are immeasurable.
Oh, absolutely. Those connections are the very fabric of a meaningful life.
They really are. You know, it's amazing. Like, we've covered so much ground in this deep dive. It's incredible how much there is to learn about building, meaningful connections with other people.
It is fascinating, isn't it?
It is. And I have to say, going into this, I had my doubts about using a book specifically about flirting as our main source.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, it's offered some genuinely insightful perspectives on relationship dynamics, as a whole.
I think what's really interesting to me is how this book, while it's intended to guide men in attracting women,
Mm-hmm.
it inadvertently reveals a lot about just human psychology in general. Like,
Right.
it's like holding up a mirror to those subtle ways we all try to influence each other,
That's so true.
whether consciously or not.
It's like, take the chapter on online dating, for example.
Yeah.
The book is full of all these tips on creating like an irresistible profile.
Yeah.
And it really got me thinking about how, we're all kind of curating these online personas,
Right.
carefully crafting the image that we project to the world.
It's like we're all players in this grand game of attraction,
Yeah.
striving to stand out from the crowd.
Right. And, the book really emphasizes originality and showcasing your unique personality and avoiding those tired cliches that everyone else uses.
Oh, absolutely.
And remember that great tip about choosing photos, ending your lineup with a picture that sparks conversation?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Like you engaged in a hobby or traveling somewhere amazing.
Yeah.
Instead of just a series of like posed photos, you're offering a glimpse into your life and passions.
It's a great way to pique someone's interest.
Exactly. And give them a natural opening to reach out to you.
Yeah.
So it's all about giving them that starting point for a meaningful conversation rather than just exchanging superficial pleasantries.
Exactly. You want to connect on a deeper level.
Yeah. And speaking of online interactions, here's something that really surprised me. The book claims that playing hard to get it doesn't really work in the online world.
Oh, that's interesting. Why not?
Well, because in online dating, responsiveness and clear communication are absolutely key.
Oh, for sure. People are moving fast online.
Yeah, you can't leave someone hanging for days and expect them to remain interested.
You got to strike while the iron's hot.
Exactly. In such a fast-paced environment where people have so many options at their fingertips, playing it too cool can actually backfire.
Yeah. If you're genuinely interested, show it.
Right. Responsiveness and clear communication, it conveys respect and genuine interest. Okay, I have to ask about this last chapter, the one about getting your crush, quote, completely hooked.
Okay. Let's hear it.
Some of the suggestions in there are pretty intense.
Intense in what way?
Well, it delves into some deeper strategies for building a profound connection and fostering a sense of deep emotional attachment.
Okay. Some serious.
It is serious stuff. One tip that stood out was the idea of being incredibly attentive.
Yeah.
And letting her know you're thinking about her constantly.
Okay. So it's about going above and beyond
Yeah.
to show her that she's special.
Exactly. It's about going beyond casual dating and actively demonstrating that she's a priority in your life.
You're making a conscious effort to put her first.
Yes. consistent effort and attention create a sense of security and value.
It shows that you're really invested in the relationship.
Right. And then there's that suggestion about pouring your heart out, being completely vulnerable and sharing your deepest feelings.
Wow, that's a big step.
It is a big step.
But vulnerability can be really powerful.
It can.
When you open yourself up to someone, you invite them to do the same.
Right. And that can foster a deep sense of closeness and trust.
It's risky, but it can be very rewarding.
Right. But the book also cautions against being too clingy or needy.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
It's all about striking that balance
Yeah.
between being emotionally available and maintaining your own independence.
Right. You don't want to lose yourself in the relationship.
Exactly. Two individuals coming together
Yeah.
while still respecting each other's individuality and need for space.
That's the key to a healthy relationship.
Absolutely.
So we've explored a vast spectrum of ideas today.
We have.
From those crucial first impressions and the power of body language to navigating the complexities of online dating and cultivating enduring commitment.
It's been a long ride.
It really has been. What stands out to you as like the most valuable takeaway from this deep dive?
You know, for me, it's the reminder that relationships in all their forms are intricate and multi-layered. There's no magic formula
Right.
or one-size-fits-all approach to guarantee success.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's about being authentic, respectful, and genuinely attuned to the other person's needs and desires.
And putting in the effort.
Yes, effort is key.
Building strong and fulfilling relationships takes work, but the rewards are immeasurable.
Oh, absolutely. Those connections are the very fabric of a meaningful life.
Well said, well said. So before we wrap up, I have one final thought-provoking question for you, dear listener. The book we've been dissecting is geared towards men attracting women. But do you believe these principles of attraction apply equally to all genders, or are there significant differences in how these dynamics play out across different relationship configurations? That's something to ponder. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so connect with us on social media and share your perspectives. Thanks for joining us on this fascinating journey, and until next time, keep exploring the intricacies of human connection.